I can see now the anchor point. The snag was just past the anchor point.
Copy and understand.
At that 3688.
We copy, and we would expect you now to be able to reach to the airlock.
After that.
Stephanie, I have something for the team in this location where I've been hanging tight. I am now seeing that there is an MMOD stripe on the label for width 8 at the airlock, and it has a pretty significant lip that I would consider a sharp edge. And I can, but if you can GPA my CVS, I can give you a love it.
Copy, Christina, checking.
Label.
Okay, I'm past that point. That was troublesome before, so that was clearly was it.
Copy, Drew.
And astronaut Christina Cook just noticing what's known as an MMOD hit, so a micrometeoroid or orbital debris hit on a label that could create a sharp edge. That's something the crew has to look out for while they're translating around the International Space Station.
So when you get to the base of it, just hang tight for a second. I'm waiting on them. Let me know.
Copy.
Copy you both. Christina, thanks for the WVS, and if you would let Drew know about that location so he can avoid it.
And now that I look at it, it may just be the label that's turned up, and it has a metallic look to it, but it may be soft and not a sharp edge hazard. So we can talk about that. And Drew, for you, where it is, it's at the above the 3 o'clock position on the wagon wheel. It's the label for width 8.
The label for width 8.
Yep. And you wouldn't normally brush your hand on it. It's not on the handrail or anything.
Copy that. I see it.
Yep.
I see width 8.
Okay. And I am at the airlock. I'm going to head to the aft side.
Roger.
Copy, Christina. When you're ready, open the thermal cover and stow the ORU bag.
The thermal cover is open and working on the ORU bag.
Copy.
And this is a view from Christina Cook's helmet cam. You can see her peeking back inside of the Quest airlock. That's the crew lock position. Both she and Drew Morgan going to be heading in there shortly. Once they're both situated inside, they'll close the airlock First bringing down the thermal cover, then actually closing the hatch. And then they will get ready to actually start repressurizing the airlock. They'll slowly start introducing air back into the area. And once that repress begins, our spacewalk will officially end.
Could even have me, want me to take it up. Okay, that works.
And Drew Morgan has also now arrived.
I'll have you talk to me about my tethers because I just did a maneuver.
So per the procedures, Drew Morgan will be the first one in. And he'll get followed by Christina Cook after she releases a number of the different anchor hooks. And they'll get everything back inside. Christina Cook will move into the airlock as well. She'll close that hatch thermal cover and then close the hatch itself.
Since you both are at the airlock together, Drew, you could ingress, attach your waist tether, and Christina could then hand in the small ORU bag to you.
Perfect.
All right, so standby one, Drew. I think what I was saying is check my local.
Yep, that's turned toward, I would say it would release it and then do that pirouette back the other direction. Or actually, it's...
Yep. Okay. And I'm going to see you.
Careful. Come back toward me a little bit. There's get your... Breathe this up from underneath your legs.
And then get my small area back.
Stand by. Okay. All right, should be...
And it should come back. It's coming back to my BRT rep, so...
Your tether rail's right between your legs. Let me grab it and clear it off your left leg here. Okay, now it's clear.
All right. Okay, so now for the ORU bag. See the rep. Got locked out pretty long, so yeah.
And get attached to the... All right. My right waist tether is to the airlock D-ring extender, gate closed, slider lock, black on black. I can fix the ORU back here.
All right.
The red
release the lock. Yeah, okay.
Copy, Drew. And we also need the configuration of that small hook.
There's the ORU bag.
My small hook is on my right D-ring extender, gate closed, slider lock, black on black.
Copy. Thank you, Drew.
Okay, it's ready.
Okay, I'll remove mine. Okay, I can go in the airlock.
Inside.
Then remember, don't go too far because I'm going to grab your green hook.
Only if you... Have I gone too far?
Nope, I've got it. So you're good. And so I'm ready for steps from Stephanie when... See.
Christina, understand you have Drew's green hook from his red reel?
I just have access to it. I haven't done anything, but I am ready for any steps.
Copy. Then that would be the first step. Release his green hook from his red reel and attach that to the forward external airlock D-ring.
Copy. That can work.
Christina Cook still outside the airlock. She just has to finish. She just has to move a couple more of these tethers and they'll work their way inside the airlock, and then she'll move in, close that thermal cover for the hatch that you can see open just to the right of her, and then actually move to close the hatch itself.
Green hook is on the airlock forward D-ring. Gate closed, fire lock, black on black.
Check reel unlocked.
And the one reel, his reels, okay, that's going to work. I've got one unlock and two reels locked. Both his red and green reels are in unlock.
Copy. Next, attach his yellow hook to your red reel.
His yellow hook to my red reel, copy.
Good readback.
Drew's yellow hook is on my red reel, gate closed. Fire lock, black on black.
Next, take your green hook, attach it to the aft external D-ring of the airlock.
Copy, it works. AV1, my green hook is attached to the aft external airlock D-ring, gates closed, fire lock, black on black.
Check the reel unlock.
Unlock and unlock.
Copy. Release your yellow hook and stow it on your mini workstation.
Copy, and work. Okay, my yellow hook is on my mini workstation.
Copy. That's a good tether config. Friendly reminder to assess the reach and access to the thermal cover prior to ingress, and when you're happy, you can ingress.
Copy. Okay, copy. And Drew, you have to go to ingress completely.
Copy.
Let me know when you're in a good state.
I am fully ingressed.
Okay. Understand your forward as much as possible.
Forward and forward as much as possible.
Okay. Your legs are
With that, Drew Morgan inside the airlock. Christina Cook now making her way inside as well. She's going to close that thermal cover that you can see slowly swinging its way back towards her, and then be ready to close the hatch itself. Once the hatch is closed and the crew's configured, they'll be ready to start the repress. So pretty much the opposite of what they did at the beginning of this spacewalk. We're going to be putting atmosphere back inside of that part of the Quest airlock. And once that repress begins, the clock will stop on today's spacewalk.
Stephanie, should I go ahead and connect my SU?
Drew, that's affirmed. You can attach your SCU to the DCM.
Copy. And I'll just kind of help direct here.
That'd be great.
Yeah. Just out of the way. You're looking good. You're looking 90% in.
All right.
Bring your feet this way.
Stand by one. I'm going to test reach at the thermal cover.
There we see Christina Cook closing the thermal cover. Meanwhile,
The thermal cover is closed.
Copy, thermal cover closed. Nice work.
All right, Stephanie, the thermal cover is closed. Thank you. And I am ingress.
Copy. Christina, remove the SCU from the stowage pouch.
Copy.
now both Christina Cook and Andrew Morgan getting their SCU service and cooling umbilicals.
I'll rotate a little bit.
Those are going to plug into the DCM, the display control module on the front of their suits.
To bring it forward.
Those umbilicals, the long white cords that you saw them connected to at the beginning that provides cooling, power, and communications capability from station to the suits themselves. They'll get those plugged in, and then the hatch will get closed, and we'll be one step closer to repress and the end of today's spacewalk.
Okay, I have my SCU pouch.
Okay. Are you for space? Do you need me to move?
No, actually, I freed up, so I'm good.
Okay.
And another short handover. We'll be getting that video communication back with the station in just a couple of seconds. Meanwhile, the teams here in the International Space Station Flight Control Room at the Johnson Space Center in Houston, watching over, getting these crew members into the final stages of today's spacewalk. Right now our clock is at 6 hours 47 minutes. Again, that's going to stop counting and the spacewalk will end once the repress of the airlock begins. It's the repressurization. So taking all of that atmosphere that was taken out and pumping it back in.
I've got it over center in position, but it's not locking down. No, this is something that we've seen before here.
Copy, Drew.
And I was able to get mine locked. So my SCU.
Copy, Christina.
And Drew, are you able to, I know it's easier said than done, but to pull out, push out on the very close to the connection? Yeah.
Trying that.
And then at the same time, push in on the side where the electrical connector is?
I can still I mean, it's staying in place, but I can feel that the lock is not engaged.
So if you pull the lever out, it just comes? If you're careful not to pull it out, it just...
Yeah, but if I try to rotate it, it will rotate.
Okay.
It will stay in place.
Copy, we're discussing.
Yeah, like you're doing it and push in.
Yeah.
Christina, Drew, Christina, you had good words for the proper technique. We'd like you to continue working it.
And Stephanie, I'm familiar with the technique, and I'm pulling out on the cable on the themselves a little bit, and putting pressure on the connectors itself. And then can you see closer to the?
I think the pressure, the outward pressure on near the connections should be closer to QDs and stuff. Yeah, like really try and get it up in there. And then remember to also push in the lever. Just kind of pushing out on SCU, but push in on that lever.
Okay, we're locked.
All right.
Copy locked. Nice work. Next are your water switches. Take your water switches to off OFF in the forward position. Expect a water is off message.
EV1, water off.
EV2, water off.
And we have started the 2-minute timer for hatch closure.
Drew, I think this is your card.
Both spacewalkers now plugged into those service and cooling umbilicals. A 2-minute timer has started. Once that's done, Christina Cook will get the go to close the hatch. First, she'll make sure there's nothing blocking the way, get the hatch closed, and then we'll be over to the repress cue card. And that's a series of steps that they'll step through. We'll hear once again from Luca Parmitano and Jessica Meir inside of the Quest airlock, where they'll be responsible for moving some atmosphere back inside of the airlock.
Clear hardware and verify handle position per hatch decal.
Okay. This is clear of hardware.
Copy.
Actually, Drew, you may have better eyes on that hatch lever. Is it because you can tip your feet up and look below you?
Yeah.
Down the line. I have.
Whether it's free of it.
Just looking to see if it's aligned with the unlatched position. That's my understanding.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, copy.
I can see it. Yep.
Copy. Thanks. Stephanie, good check.
Copy. We're continuing the hold for the timer.
Copy.
Christina, the 2-minute timer is complete. You have a go to close and lock the hatch.
Copy.
Christina Cook now working to close the hatch on the Quest airlock. It's one of the last few steps before they start repressurizing the area of the airlock where both Morgan and Cook are currently located. And again, once that repress begins, our spacewalk will officially end. Just a quick time check, we're at 6 hours, 54 minutes, and 25 seconds and counting.
It's out of the hatch key.
Roger. Nice.
And if there's any way, Drew, you can hold my feet or way, I would take it.
Yep. Okay.
We're back in the hatch key, so stand by 1 on that. So you can let my feet down.
There we go.
Okay. All right. Got movement on the hatch again. I'll take.
Come port.
Confirm. I think it might be back in 1 second. Oh, we're good. Okay, heading your way. Oh yeah, there we go. I found the spot. It's on the hatch rail, going to the lever. Andrew?
Yep.
Port.
To the port.
Thank you.
Once more, getting a view inside of the equipment lock. You can see
Here we are in the latch.
Jessica Meir and Luca Parmitano looking through the window as Christina Cook works to close this hatch.
The MPAS is closed.
Copy, hatch closed, lever locked, and MPAP is closed. That completes the detailed timeline. We transition now to the pre-repress cue card. On your DCMs, check your SCUs are connected to your DCM.
Connected.
P2 connected.
Copy. Check your water switches are off.
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 Double check EV hatch closed and locked.
Closed and locked.
Drew, on the UIA, check oxygen EMU 1 and 2. 2 valves are open.
Oxygen EMU 1 and 2 are open.
Take power EV1, EV2, 2 switches to on.
Our EV1 on. Our EV2 on.
Check power EV1, EV2, EMU LEDs, 2 LEDs on.
Both LEDs are on.
Check power EV1, EV2 volts between 18 and 19.
18.6 and 18.6.
Copy. On your DCMs, take your power switches to SCU. Expect a warning tone.
Good work. Button powers and SCU.
EV2 power SCU.
Nice work. Well, that completes our time together today. On behalf of the P6 Battery EVA ground team, we'd like to thank you for your awesome work today. We have made great progress in upgrading the batteries on the 2B side. Nice job. And with that, I'll hand you over to Luca.
Copy that. Stephanie, thank you so much. It has been a wonderful day. Also wanted to say a huge congratulations to the teams across the world, the EVA team in Houston as well that made this day just an awesome day. You guys are the ones that work hard. You guys have the dedication that makes us able to keep the space station running at peak capacity, being an awesome example of international cooperation leading to the greater good for everyone. And for us, it's just an honor and a privilege to be part of your team. I look forward to the rest of the series. Thanks again.
Thank you. We appreciate the words.
And we agree 100% with you. Stephanie, thank you so much. And welcome back on board. Christina, Drew, it's fantastic to have you back. Will you please put your O2 actuators to press?
Copy that, Luca. Great to hear your voice, and that's in work. EV1's in press.
EV2 press.
Copy, both in press. Christina, please check the EV hatch MPAD is closed.
It is closed.
Okay, guys, I'm going to start throttling from off to norm, very slowly initially. Just I expect you guys to give me an indication of how you feel.
Okay.
Copy. Let me rotate this a little bit now.
Copy. Yeah, no worries.
And during Christina, you can expect an alert tone.
Copy. There it is.
Christina, Drew, when the crew lock will be at 4.0, you can expect another alert tone. And then please alert me when the crew lock uses 5.0. I will watch from the inside, but I will go for whichever comes first.
All right, we copy.
Copy.
And how is the rate, guys?
Fine for me.
That's good rate.
I'm happy to have it a little bit faster if Drew is. But
Yeah, I think you could speed it up a little bit. I agree.
Okay, copy, guys. Let me know of any adjustment. I'm here for you.
All right. I show us at 1.5.
copy.
Two.
All right, with the repress now in work, The official end time for today's spacewalk was 1:40 p.m. Central Time, 2:40 p.m. Eastern Time. That's giving us a total elapsed time today of 7 hours and 1 minute. Again, the final stopping point for today's spacewalk coming at 1:40 p.m. Central Time, 2:40 p.m. Eastern. Total elapsed time is 7 hours and 1 minute. Today's spacewalk started at 6:39 a.m. Central Time, 7:39 a.m. Eastern.
I'd be good with another rate bump if you are, Drew.
I'm good. Yep, I'm good to bump it up.
I'll set the leak check.
Yeah, we're at 5.0. We're at 5.0.
Excellent. Starting at 2 minutes for stabilization.
All right, and again, our spacewalk ended when that repress started. That repress coming at 1:40 p.m. Central Time, 2:40 p.m. Eastern, giving a total elapsed time for today's spacewalk of 7 hours and 1 minute. A couple of quick stat updates for you then. This was the second spacewalk for both Christina and Drew. This was the 219th in support of station assembly and maintenance. The sixth spacewalk conducted just this year. And again, we'll go through a couple of these stats in just a moment. The repressurization of the Quest airlock is already underway, and they're going to do it pretty slowly, but they're going to gradually be raising the pressure, starting off from right around vacuum, eventually making its way all the way up to right about sea level, with the rest of the station right around 14.7 psi. At this point, they're already right at about 5, and they're going to do a quick pause at 5. They'll wait 2 minutes for the pressure to stabilize, and then they'll continue on up. So again, just running through some stats one more time for you. 219 spacewalk in support of station assembly and maintenance, and the sixth one conducted on board the space station just this year. This was the second spacewalk for Christina Cook, now with the total lifetime spacewalking hours, 13 hours, 46 minutes. Also the second for Drew Morgan. He's now at 13 hours, 33 minutes. In those 219 spacewalks, with today lasting 7 hours and 1 minute, we've now had 1,374 hours and 27 minutes of spacewalking time on board the International Space Station, and that translates to 57 days, 6 hours, and 27 minutes.
Christina, Drew, good leak check. You can switch the glove heaters to off.
Okay, my glove heaters are off.
Glove heaters are off.
Check your gloves for any contamination.
No contamination.
No contamination.
On your DCM, switch the O2 actuator to IV.
And this time around, they do a quick leak check to make sure no air is escaping from the airlock as they introduce it in. And Luca Parmitano just reporting a good leak check, so he will be opening the valve back up.
Back towards normal. When the delta P, delta T is approximately 0, expect another tone.
Copy that.
And so Luca Parmitano opening up the valve. You can hear the air rushing back in through the microphones of the spacewalkers. It's now going to continue to pressurize that airlock, bringing it all the way up to right around 14.7 psi. At which point, Parmitano and Jessica Meir will be able to open up the hatch, bring the crew members back inside, and help them start getting their suits off. They've been in these suits for well over 7 hours as they suit up a couple hours before to do their in-suit light exercise and other checkouts. So very long day for these spacewalking astronauts, but just about to come to an end. Again, our repress, so the end of today's spacewalk did take place at 1:40 p.m. Central Time, 2:40 p.m. Eastern, giving a total elapsed time of 7 hours and 1 minute to today's spacewalk. It was a fully successful one and more today, as they were able to complete all of their primary tasks and several get-ahead tasks, actually getting some batteries swapped out that weren't supposed to take place until the second spacewalk.
These are amazing.
All told, they were able to remove 3 nickel hydrogen batteries. Those are the older ones that were already installed that are getting replaced. 2 of those moved onto the external pallet where they'll eventually be disposed of through an HTV vehicle. And one of the batteries now residing on an adapter plate. 2 lithium-ion batteries removed from that exposed pallet and installed over there on the P6 truss, taking up slots 1 and 3. And then 1 corresponding adapter plate was installed for the first battery and a nickel hydrogen battery placed on top of it. And that was one of the primary tasks for the day. They also did something called braking torque, so just starting the removal of 2 of the other batteries that are going to get replaced on some upcoming spacewalks, and reoriented a number of the scoops, or those metallic handhold devices that they attach to the batteries to give themselves a good handhold to pass back and forth. So all of that completed successfully. 7 hours, 1 minute. Cook and Morgan inside the airlock, repressurizing. Soon we'll get that hatch back open, get them back inside, get the suits off, and we will end today's activities.
We're 5.
How's the rate, guys?
I'm good with it.
Yep.
12.1.
So we're quickly approaching the desired pressure, already in excess of 12.1 psi, continuing to climb. They'll get up to right around 14.7, and that by that point the pressure will be mostly equalized between the section of the airlock where the crew in suits is residing and the section of the airlock we're taking a look in right now known as the equipment lock. Once we get there, Luca Parmitano will be able to open up the hatch and begin bringing Drew Morgan and Christina Cook back inside. And just like that, the hatch now opened up. Parmitano and me are going to start to work to move the crew members back inside.
Other way.
There it is.
Hey, guys.
Welcome back.
Hey.
Thank you. It's so great to see you guys again. Feels like we were gone forever.
Airlock on 2. Are you ready for step 4 of 1.240?
Watch out, you're still on the way.
Yes, we are ready to do step 4. And Jessica, just to make sure we're in sync.
Are we still hot?
Yeah, we're hot.
Yes, you are both very hot. And Jessica, to be clear, step 4, the ground's going to do that step, and you're clear to continue right through that step.
A-firm, that's what we were hoping. Thank you.
Morgan, the first one through, they're going to attach him to the left side of the airlock from our vantage point.
At halftime, the Eagles are up by 21 points. Score is 21-0.
Wow.
And more just really fantastic news for Christina Cook right there. So first up is removing the safer unit. That's the simplified aid for EVA rescue. That's essentially the emergency jetpack that they have in case they were to get untethered. Then they're going to move to attach Morgan by his portable life support system. That's the backpack, the PLIS.
Airlock Houston on Space Ground 1. The EV crew is no longer hot mic'd.
And then as these crew members get attached, they'll start systematically taking a number of items off of the suits. They'll usually start with that mini workstation, so the large metallic devices you can see in the front of Drew Morgan there. Eventually moving to the helmets and the gloves as well. They'll take a lot of photos of the gloves as they'll get reviewed by teams down here on the ground just to see if they notice any damage or wear and tear on the gloves, as they do usually take the most beating during these spacewalks.
Talk to the EV crew from the airlock now.
We'll continue to hang with them until the helmets are off. For now, though, Morgan now getting attached. Christina Cook will follow soon after. And now Christina Cook making her way through the hatch back into the equipment lock. Again, they're going to remove that safer piece of hardware from the bottom of her portable life support system. And then she'll get linked back onto the wall just like Andrew Morgan already has been. So with both astronauts back inside of the equipment lock, you can see both Luca Parmitano and Jessica Meir helping to get all the different pieces off the suits. First, the mobile workstations with all of the excess tethers and tools from the front of the suits. They'll take some of the helmet enclosures off the top with the helmet cams and the lights. They'll also start getting the gloves off and the helmets. You may see them taking a lot of very close-up pictures of the gloves. That's done after every spacewalk, and those images get reviewed down on the ground just to make sure that the crews haven't incurred any damage to their gloves, as they are kind of the most likely spots to have any nicks or cuts, is they're doing all of the walking with their hands. And so we'll see them flip the gauntlet part up of the glove and start to work those off. And you can see them unplugging the gloves. The gloves actually have heaters in them that connect into the suit's power, so you can see them disconnecting those cables. And at this point, we are just a couple of minutes away from the gloves and the helmets coming off. Once we see those helmets come off, we will be wrapping up today's coverage. If you are just tuning in, you missed a very successful spacewalk lasting 7 hours and 1 minute. It kicked off this morning at 6:39 a.m. Central, wrapped up at 1:40 p.m. Central, so just about 30 minutes ago. Both the crew members have made their way back inside of the airlock after an extremely successful day, able to move 3 nickel hydrogen batteries. These are the ones being replaced from their spots, 2 of them out to an exposed pallet where they're going to be put in a future HTV cargo vehicle and disposed of. One of them's on a newly installed adapter plate. They were also able to install not 1 but 2 lithium-ion batteries today. And we're going to be doing a total of 6 throughout all of the spacewalks in the coming weeks, replacing 12 nickel hydrogen batteries with the higher power lithium-ion ones. So a very successful day, actually completing several tasks that were targeted for the second spacewalk, which is going to be coming up in 5 days from now on October 11th. And it looks like we've got the helmet off of Christina Cook. And Drew Morgan will be next up. Again, we do have 5 spacewalks currently planned in the month of October, 10 spacewalks out of U.S. airlocks from now until the end of November or early December, and then 1 additional Russian spacewalk in the mix as well. This is going to be a record pace from spacewalks staged out of airlocks on board the International Space Station. The only time previously in history we've had this many in this short of a time was when we were flying the space shuttle, and you would have 5 or 6 just in a very quick 2-week span on the shuttle. So a lot of work being done to swap out these batteries, and then later on when Luca Parmitano and Drew Morgan kick off around 5 spacewalks to go out and repair the alpha magnetic spectrometer. But today's spacewalk already in the books, again lasting 7 hours and 1 minute. This was the second spacewalk for both of these crew members, Christina Koch and Drew Morgan. Christina Koch now has 13 hours 46 minutes of spacewalking time on her resume. Drew Morgan 13 hours and 33 minutes. And this was the 219th spacewalk in support of space station assembly and operations, maintenance, and repair activities. And just flashing up the stats for you one more time here. Again, second spacewalk for Christina Koch and Drew Morgan. You can see their totals there. The spacewalk today, 7 hours and 1 minute. This was the 219th in support of space station operations and repairs, giving us a grand total of 1,374 hours and 27 minutes of spacewalking time. That translates to 57 days, 6 hours, and 27 minutes. So with this spacewalk in the books, we're now looking forward towards the next couple. Again, we had 5 planned. The next one's going to be coming up this Friday. Coverage time is going to start at the same time for all of these at 5:30 a.m. Central Time, with the spacewalks starting right around the 7 a.m. hour Central Time. The next spacewalk is going to be the same crew. They're going to swap positions. So Drew Morgan will be EV1, the lead spacewalker, and Christina Koch will swap into EV2. And then next week on Wednesday, October 16th, we'll have Drew Morgan and then NASA astronaut Jessica Meir heading out the door for the first time. Again, that'll be 2 and 3. We also have 4 and 5 on the plan, with Christina Koch and Jessica Meir scheduled to head out the door on October 21st. And then Luca Parmitano will get his first shot at one on this increment, going out the door with Jessica Meir on October 25th. So be sure to tune in for all of those spacewalks coming up throughout the month. Spacewalktober, as one of our flight directors so eloquently put it. But I do want to thank you for joining us. We started off early in the morning. It's now mid-afternoon. Not a bad way to spend a Sunday, watching 2 people walk outside in the vacuum of space 260 miles over your head, swapping out some batteries and getting all of their tasks completed successfully. So tune in later this week on Friday for Spacewalk number 2, as we continue this fall of spacewalks on the International Space Station. For now, though, we are going to go ahead and sign off. This is Mission Control Houston.